So we're now about 2 weeks into NFL free agency, and the Eagles have had a very interesting free agency period, to say the least. We started off really hot by signing one of the better players in the free agent class in Haason Reddick, but they haven't really done much since. This past week, they only made a couple moves, but they added a couple new players, and they re-signed some players as well. So last week, I did a recap talking about all the moves they made, and this is what we're here doing again today, while also talking about some potential moves they could make in the future. So let's get into it. So the first move the Eagles made was they signed a player that Nick Sirianni is very familiar with, which is wide receiver Zach Pascal from the Indianapolis Colts to a one-year deal. And I already made a video talking about this, but I think that this is a very good move for the Eagles to make. I think he immediately becomes potentially their second or third wide receiver. I think he definitely overtakes Jalen Reagor in that spot. But he definitely fits what the Eagles need. They needed a big body receiver. They needed someone who can run block, as the Eagles' main strength is running the football. And Zach Pascal's had some pretty productive years in his career. In 2 of his seasons, he got 600 yards receiving, and in 1 of the years, he had about 5 touchdowns. But he's been a very productive receiver, and one thing that Nick Sirianni said about him is he's one of his favorite receivers he's ever coached because he has that dog mentality. He works hard, and he has the right mindset, and I think bringing him to Philly is a very good move, especially because the Eagles need wide receiver depth, and he helps add to that. Although I do think the Eagles should make some more moves in the wide receiver position moving forward, I think this is a very good move to start off the week. Then we went a little while without seeing much, but the next move that the Eagles made was they re-signed a player that most Eagles fans have a similar opinion about. We don't really like this player that the Eagles re-signed. I think we all had a similar reaction. They ended up re-signing Derek Barnett to a 2-year contract, which surprised me because I thought the signing of Haason Reddick basically meant that it was done for Barnett, but Barnett is back on a 2-year contract. This is the thing about Derek Barnett. He's not quite as bad as people say, as much as people hate him, which I am one of the people that does very much dislike him. He is able to get pressure on the quarterback. He only had, I think, 9 less quarterback hurries than Haason Reddick did last year. The difference is Derek Barnett is just an idiot. Like, he has more penalties than sacks in his entire career. He doesn't quite get all the way in to get the sack most of the time. He gets some hurries, but he doesn't end up finishing with the sack. And this man, like, here's an example. We'll have like a, oh my gosh, Darius Slay, pick 6, all the way to the house, game-changing play. Wait, there's a flag. Oh my gosh, Derek Barnett, 15-yard penalty, face mask, roughing the passer, whatever. He just does stupid stuff and ends up costing the Eagles. So to re-sign him for a 2-year contract, he just needs to not, he can't do that stuff. He can't do that stuff. It's very simple. He can't do that stuff. He needs to be disciplined when he's on the field. Hopefully he can work that habit out of his game, but he's a very talented player that hasn't really panned out in this league. So we got him for 2 more years. Hopefully it works out. He's definitely going to be a backup defensive end for the Eagles, and we'll see what happens. It wasn't my favorite move, but it's not, in my opinion, it's not a great move, but we'll see what happens. And then the third and final move that the Eagles made in free agency this week was signing linebacker Kyzir White to a 1-year deal from the Los Angeles Chargers. This is actually a really good move in my opinion too, because Kyzir White had a breakout season last year, having 144 combined tackles. He had the 8th most combined and solo tackles in the league last season, and that's what we need. The Eagles need a linebacker that can play the run, can play the pass. He can do both, and they got him for a 1-year, $5 million deal, so that's cheap. And if he plays very well this season, we could pay him, and if he doesn't, we can just let him go, which is good because the Eagles, I think, definitely over this offseason, their most upgraded position has been linebacker, which is exactly what they needed because that was probably one of their weakest points last year. So now they got linebackers, TJ Edwards, Davion Taylor, Kyzir White, and then you got Haason Reddick as the Sam linebacker, rushing the quarterback and then also sometimes dropping back into coverage. I think Kyzir White was a great addition to this Eagles team and a very underrated signing. But that was the only moves that the Eagles made in free agency so far this week. There are some other moves that I think that they should make. One rumor that's been out there is that the Eagles contacted Stephon Gilmore about potentially him joining the team, which I think would be a great move because the Eagles definitely need another corner alongside Darius Slay. Stephon Gilmore is still a very serviceable player. The reason we found out about the fact that the Eagles contacted him was because his wife posted on, I think it was, I can't remember if it was Twitter or Instagram, I think it was Twitter, that the Eagles had contacted him. But the thing at the end, she put, like, it was like a post about the Eagles needing a cornerback, and then she goes, yeah, we know. They called us or whatever, LOL. That LOL basically means Howie Roseman gave some garbage, horrible offer, which, I mean, what can you really say? I feel like Howie Roseman's always involved with all these different players, but he never really gives out a really great offer to people. Like, even Hassan Reddick took less money to come to Philly because he wanted to be there. So that's one thing to think about. But I think Stephon Gilmore would be a great addition to this team. You just have to offer him a decent deal. And, you know, why not give him like a 1-year prove-it deal? He would be a great pickup to put on this Eagles defense, but it depends on if Howie Roseman decides that he wants to give him a decent amount of money for him to come to Philly or not. I also think the Eagles need another wide receiver in this offseason. I've been saying that. I just made a video on that not too long ago, talking about some potential Eagles wide receiver targets. Even though they added Zach Pascal, I don't think that's enough. I think they need a legit number 2 wide receiver alongside Devante Smith. The first guy I want to talk about is DK Metcalf. I, again, made a video about this, but I just want to explain myself even further. DK Metcalf would be a great addition to this team. You would get DK Metcalf, pay him, and he would be here a long time alongside Devante Smith. But he's a big receiver. He's a physical receiver, but he's also fast. He's super athletic. He can really do it all on the field in every aspect of being a wide receiver, and he's really been one of the better wide receivers ever since he's come into the league. There's been tons of trade rumors surrounding him, especially after Russell Wilson just got traded and the Seattle Seahawks are now entering a rebuild. And DK Metcalf has been mentioned in a lot of trade talks around the league, and it's looking like the Seattle still wants to extend him, but if they can't get an extension done, then I guarantee you they will end up trading him, and the Eagles need to be in the mix for that because they have the draft capital to go after DK Metcalf. They have 3 first-round picks this year. They have, I think, 10 or 11 picks in this year's draft. They have the means to go after DK Metcalf, and I think that they need to go after him if he becomes super available for a trade. We already know that the Packers and Chiefs contacted the Seahawks about a DK Metcalf trade, so hopefully the Eagles become more involved in that. And if DK Metcalf does end up getting traded, hopefully it's to the Eagles. The other guy I want to talk about is Devante Parker. There's actually been a report linking the Eagles to Devante Parker, saying they're one of the several teams interested in the Miami wideout after Tyreek Hill obviously was traded there, and they also signed Cedric Wilson. If Devante Parker were to stay in Miami, he would be probably rotating in and out as the number 3 wide receiver with Cedric Wilson. And I don't think he wants that. I think he would really fall out of the offense. Last year was still a down year for him, but he's shown potential in this league. He's shown flashes. He's just had couple injuries that have held him back in his career, but in 2019 when he was mostly healthy, he put up over 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns. He's a very talented player, and he only, I think, would be $6 million this season and $7 million the season after. That'd be his contract, so that's a very team-friendly contract, and I think the Eagles could go after him as well. I think he'd be a great receiver to put alongside Devante Smith and a good receiver to help Jalen Hurts develop because he's a big receiver, because he can go up and get a jump ball, and he's a bigger target. And Devante Parker, bringing him to the Eagles, I think would be another very good move and help shoring up the wide receiver position. We'll see if there's still another big move in the works. Hopefully there is. And that's pretty much all I got for this video, guys. So if you did enjoy, subscribe for more Eagles videos, Sixers videos. Drop a like down below to help push this video out to other people. And that's pretty much all I got for this video, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.